Hello, Bashar.
And to you, good day.
How would you define the words perfect and perfectionism?
You are perfect as you are every moment. Whatever it is you are a perfect version of that. It doesn't mean you won't change, because you always change, and you become differently perfect as you are in that definition of that moment. So perfection is not the end. Perfection is a process, continual process that never ends. It is the willingness to be more and more of your true self. That's all it is. Does that help?
I'd like more clarification on how can every moment be perfect? Aren't there two sides to
Every moment you are a perfect version of what you are. You are equating the idea of perfection as if you are trying to reach a goal after which you will never change. That will never occur, ever, because you can always change. You can always become something else. Change is the only constant in creation. So the idea of perfection in the way that you're seeking it is to constantly change, to constantly become more as yourself, whatever that means. So perfection is not a static state. It's a dynamically changing state. If you go with the flow, you are operating in perfection, constantly changing. But the idea is that whatever you are at that moment, even though you're going to change, is a perfect version of that thing. Does that make more sense? Yes, no, maybe?
I'm still struggling with this, or challenged by this one.
Is it because you think that perfection is something you achieve and then you don't achieve anything beyond that?
Yes.
But I just told you that that's not what perfection is.
What if you're murdering someone or being murdered? Are those perfect moments?
For what they are, yes, it's a perfect murder. This is not a value judgment. We're not talking about positive and negative here. We're just saying it is what it is, and it is perfect as what it is. That's all we're saying. It is a perfect representation of that act, of that thing. Using perfect in that way simply as a definition of what is it that's going on. That's all we're saying. We're not making value judgments here. Are you associating a value judgment with the word perfect?
Yes.
Why?
That's a good question.
Thank you. Do you have a good answer?
Not at this moment, no.
All right. That's a perfect answer. Do you understand that change will never end?
I guess I haven't internalized that.
What do you think it would look like if you achieved perfection? Can you describe it to us?
I feel like
Give us an example.
I'd be out of debt, I'd have lots of money, I'd have...
Oh, I see. This is all connected to finance.
Well, my body would be healthy, I'd be in a state of joy and ecstasy all the time.
Your body would be healthy. All right. You would have all the money you want. Do you understand that there are different forms of abundance?
I do.
Do you?
I do.
Can you name them?
Outside of finance, there's also health, and that's all that's coming to my head at the moment.
All right. Health is a good answer, but outside of the exchange of money on your planet, which is a viable symbol of abundance, being given a gift is a form of abundance. Having something to trade is a form of abundance. Synchronicity is a form of abundance. Imagination is a form of abundance. Communication is a form of abundance. Because abundance is simply the ability to do what you need to do when you need to do it. That's all it is. So the idea is that if you focus only on one form, you're closing the doors through which other forms can come. You're invalidating all the other forms. When the natural act is to be open to all forms of abundance, so that in acting on your passion, whatever forms need to be there to join together to create the 100% abundance that will allow you to continue to act on your passion can then flow together and happen and support you. Maybe it will be a little bit of money. Maybe someone will give you a gift. Maybe your imagination will be inspired to think of a way you can do things that you hadn't thought of before that won't require as much money. Maybe you can communicate something to someone that they find valuable, and they will support you in a certain way. You have to let all the forms of abundance come together to support you. Don't limit the idea of what abundance means. Does this help?
It helps. Thank you.
You're very welcome. See, information is a form of abundance.
On the topic of information, I was wondering, what would you say if I wanted you to spoil my surprises or open one of my presents? Every time I've heard you say that, I've always wanted somebody to say yes.
All right. What present would you like me to open?
What I'd like to know about my future, or the best. What is the highest vibrational version of myself doing in a parallel reality right now?
What is your strongest passion that you're not acting on?
I love fantasy art, but I'm actually taking action on it.
Are you taking all the actions you can? And what is your art?
I'm working on t-shirts that are either dragons or spirituality related, and
is that the highest expression of your art that you can imagine?
No, it would actually be fantasy book covers.
Are you acting on that?
Am not.
Why not?
I guess the opportunity just doesn't...
Oh, you mean you haven't created an opportunity yet?
Yes.
Then why don't you create an opportunity?
I will do that now.
All right. Then now you know your future. Or not. It's up to you. Does that help you?
It does.
All right. Happy creating.
Thank you. May I also ask, can you describe what my spirit guide looks like?
A ball of light. Most spirits don't necessarily take any particular form. They usually appear as orbs of light.
Okay.
Will that do?
Yes, thank you.
Do you want to call your spirit guide Blue? You can.
I've been using this idea to try to prove to myself that spirituality is real by having other people that can see spirit guides describe mine to me and then comparing their answers.
All right. That's a fascinating project. Especially since spirit guides can appear as almost anything they wish.
Is there any other way I can prove spirituality to you?
Be more spiritual.
Okay.
Why do you need to prove spirituality?
I'm afraid that I will be duped,
By what?
that I will have chosen the wrong path for myself and will then be... Bless you.
The body is not sneezing. But thank you for your blessing. The body is synchronistically representing the idea of choking, which is what you're doing on physical reality. Suffocating. The idea is you are a spirit. Are you afraid that you will not continue after you die? Is that why you're trying to prove it?
To a degree, yes.
Do you understand that you cannot cease to exist?
I fluctuate between believing and not believing.
It's not about believing. Do you understand how things work? Do you know that once you exist, which obviously you do, you cannot cease to exist? You can change form, but you cannot cease to exist.
I don't know it, no.
Existence is its quality. That which exists cannot become non-existent, because by definition, non-existence doesn't exist. That's its quality, to not exist. So that which exists cannot become that which doesn't. Do you understand this concept?
I think it's a fun wordplay, but I can't internalize it.
All right. Then I would caution you to simply not worry about it. To live your life as fully as you can, to follow your passion. For even if it were true that there is nothing else afterwards, why not live the fullest life you can anyway? Why not?
Do you have any parting book recommendations or transmissions for me?
Book recommendations?
Yeah.
On your planet? Destiny of Souls and Journey of Souls might help you.
Thank you, Bashar.
You are very welcome.